NBA Street is a basketball game that was developed by EA Canada, published by EA Sports Big, and released on the PlayStation 2 and Gamecube in June of 2001. During this generation, EA Sports Big put out quite a few sports titles in the Streets category, such as NFL and FIFA Street, but the original NBA Street was the game that set the trend and was received very well 18 years ago. This arcade-style basketball game borrows what I assume was the NBA roster at the time and gives you the opportunity to take it to the streets against the best ballers in the game. The main mode on offer is basically a ladder of increasingly difficult matchups against a variety of official teams and fictional street teams. You'll begin by choosing a starter squad, and each time you defeat an opponent you'll get the pick of one of their players. Over the course of this campaign, you'll play on courts from all over America, from Florida to New York and California, all while strengthening your team with each victory as you steal more and more players. It's very straightforward and simple. You play match after match with not a lot of variety, but it is a fun time. I'm slightly disappointed that there aren't more customization options, such as picking the jersey or colours of your team, but considering it's the first game in the series, and with the knowledge of the 3 sequels to come, this is very forgivable. Another reason why all of this is forgivable is because the game makes it so easy to jump on board, as not only does it neglect most of the rules of basketball, it also throws realistic physics out of the window along with it. If you were looking for a basketball game that doesn't require you to know anything about basketball, then boy have you found it, because any knowledge of the strategy of this sport will not help you in the slightest. NBA Street breaks things down to such a simplistic but fun game that you get the impression that the developers just said, "F it, let's just dunk on people endlessly." Because these are 3-on-3 matches instead of the usual 5-on-5, there is a ton of space on the court for you to just run straight through at times and just slam that ball into the basket. Things move at a fast pace and are very back and forth. Most of the considerations you'd have to make in a regular sports title, such as can I make this pass, or is this a good angle for a shot, or even am I allowed to just knock players over, all of that is forgotten as both teams just aim to score 21 points before the other. What adds more flavour to the gameplay is the trick system and game breaker bar. When dribbling down the court and approaching another player, you can use the square button along with a combination of the shoulder buttons to pull off a number of different tricks that will disorient the opposing player. You can use these tricks to gain style points or cause members of the other team to fall over to create more space and build up your game breaker, which is essentially a special shot that is almost guaranteed to go in.
Got you down.
Go on, MJ. Do your thing.
The gameplay loop is fairly satisfying, less so against the AI than real people of course, as I imagine the main appeal of this game is embarrassing your friends as you successfully pass to a member of your team for a thunderous alley-oop. Some of the tricks and dunks in the game are very much over the top but look great at the same time. Also, there is something about blocking a player's shot that I found surprisingly enjoyable. I think all of this is what saves NBA Street from being forgettable. What it lacks in complexity, it makes up for in style, but it is a game from EA Sports Big, so why would you expect anything less? While we're on the subject of style, the graphics have not aged too badly at all, and the slightly exaggerated design of the world is what helps the game in this regard. The player models are most likely taken from EA's other NBA game, but they still look quite nice considering how much time has passed. One thing that the developer has also executed well is the animation of all the tricks, and even though the athletes on screen are at times performing superhuman feats, it doesn't feel too jarring. Environments are varied and the camera angle is kept quite tight to the court, so you don't always get a good look at the city that you're currently playing in, but even if they are a little basic, it's still nice to have a little change of background once in a while. I feel like it would be harsh for me to say that this game drops the ball in terms of audio. I don't really have any strong feelings either way on this aspect of the game. The sound effects on the court are fine, the hip-hop instrumentals that play in the background are generic but fine, and the commentary from Joe the Show Jackson is a little repetitive, but again, it is fine.
Y'all up one player.
So let's sum all of this up and get to the score. NBA Street is a basketball game that focuses 100% on style and removes any barrier to entry for people intimidated by the usual rules and depth of the sport. The modes and challenges on offer are quite basic, but this is very much the starting point of the franchise, and it only got better from here. You'll certainly have more fun dunking on your friends than you will the AI, as I wouldn't say becoming king of the street courts is hugely rewarding, but it is ultimately a fun time, and I doubt you'll regret giving it a try.